Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So it seems that Cassiopeia's rework has been leaked accidentally on the PvE server. So the second I heard this, I instantly jumped into a game with bots to test out her ability, see what they do now, and then of course make this video and let you guys know everything you need to know. Keep in mind this is leaked and it's not necessarily final, though it does give a very good idea in the general way that they're going with Cassiopeia. You'll notice her overall general playstyle and in terms of how the abilities actually look like is pretty much the same, but there are several new effects and certain things that they just actually no longer do. So in the general scheme of things, it seems like they're making Cassiopeia feel more like a traditional mage rather than before, which was kind of like an ADC turned into an AP caster. But without further ado, let's go right into what the changes are. So the first thing to talk about that's a fairly interesting change is her passive. It will no longer do what it does now, where you stack up poison stacks, you get bonus AP and other effects, and you get your E ability to heal you. It no longer does any of that. It is much more simplified, but in a very unique way. Her passive now grants her movement speed per level, but she can no longer buy boots. That means the regular boots, boots of speed, lucidity, whatever. You cannot buy boots, period. This is a very interesting take because I don't feel like any other champion in the game at the moment is essentially prohibited from buying boots, especially since it feels like such a staple item on every single champion you always play. So that's the first change. Now I have to say it is different, and I like the fact that it's different. I like bringing something a bit more unique to this game. So at level 18, she's gonna have just over 400 move speed gained from her passive. So obviously this means you cannot get the early Sork boots to get that magic penetration going. You can't get the early CDR or the early move speed. You have to kind of wait for it. But this does mean that you have pretty much a completely free slot item now for another AP item. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. Her Q ability seems to be untouched. Now keep in mind, you cannot see any of the numbers. You can't see the scaling or anything like that. So I don't know if the scaling has changed, but in terms of what it does, how it looks like, it seems to be the same. Moving on to her W, in terms of how it looks, how she places it down, and for the most part what it does, it is the same thing. However, now it does something completely new. So on top of everything else, it also puts a debuff on the enemy champions within your W called Grounded, and this prohibits all the enemy champions from being able to use any movement type abilities, so like a Nezreal E, like a Lucian dash, a Kali dash, maybe Diana dash, even things like Thresh Lantern, and even things like the Summoner Teleport. But the question is, will it also prevent the Summoner Flash? So this is obviously a very interesting aspect because they're putting Cassiopeia to the point where you pick her in order to counter high dashing or high mobility type champions. So that in itself is very, very cool, and this really just gives you a reason to want to pick Cassiopeia now. It really just separates her from the other champions, which is obviously what Riot is intending with these reworks. Moving on to her E ability, for the most part it is also the same thing, but the few differences are as follows. Now it will do bonus damage to a poison target, and it will heal her for the damage dealt. And I believe that this heal happens from level 1. You don't need to stack up your passive and increase the heal anymore. If the target dies, you still get your mana back, which is cool, but the main thing that they have changed about this ability is that it's no longer spammable. At the very moment, if you use it on a poison target, well, you are gonna get the cooldown refreshed almost instantly, and you can keep spamming it and spamming it and spamming it, which is what gave her that more or less ADC mage type feel. That is no longer the case. It has a flat cooldown whether you hit a poison target or not. It is gonna be on the same cooldown pretty much like almost any other ability in the game. Now I don't see the AP ratios on it. I can't see how much damage it does, but it doesn't seem like it does anything more significant than it currently is. That's a little unfortunate. Personally, I really like the playstyle of Cassiopeia being able to spam this E if the target is poisoned. It gave her a very interesting complex playstyle, but Riot decided to make this a lot more simple. And then moving on to her ultimate, from what I understand, it seems to be the exact same. Nothing so far has changed. Maybe they will add something in the future, I don't know. But that is about it. I mean, that's the current reworked Cassiopeia leaked onto the PvE. I have to say, it is very interesting. I like that they have this unique playstyle to her now where her passive and her W offer such different things. And you almost now have an actual reason to want to pick Cassiopeia thanks to her W ability, but I'm personally not the biggest fan of her E and how you can't spam it, so maybe they'll increase the damage on it, make it kind of a nuke sort of spell. But we'll see how it works out, guys. I mean, that's the Cassiopeia rework that has been leaked to the PvE server. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this, if you like it, if you don't. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and check out my other videos as well. Peace.